All right, folks, today is November the 12th, but you might be seeing this on November the 13th. Anyhow, what we're going to work on today is all-time highs. So we're looking at SPY right here. If we go into like the daily chart, you see this thing is just moving straight up. But the question is, when do you get a bar that's a new all-time high? So in order to do that, let's make let's do a paint bar, and we'll just call it all-time highs. We'll get rid of this template here. All right, so there are some reserved words that you can use with TradeStation. So you can use something like high. It'll give you 52-week high. It'll give you the high of the day. And I think there's a few other ones. Even when you go into the fundamental fields, we go into, let's right click on one of the reserved words. We'll go to definition. It'll pull this up, and then you can just go to a fundamental field hyperlink. Like one of these, this should take us there. Fundamental field, and that's not what I'm looking for. Two words, fundamental fields, class. All right, so I typed in fundamental fields. Field, I didn't type it with an S, so that was a problem. All right, so now that we're at fundamental fields here, you see all these fundamental fields that you can use. If we do a search for high, you see we have a 12-month high price date. What else do we have associated with the word high? I think that's it. Price 12-month high, 52-week, 52 W. If you try typing in like all time, nothing comes up for all time, all time high. So it doesn't have anything even in the fundamental field quotes. The fundamental quotes provider, there's no fundamental field that it's the all-time high of a stock price moving forward. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go to the toolbox. We're going to open up the price series provider. Once we have that, we'll pin that. We'll make that the load to true, and then we'll just call this PSP. Okay, folks, so I really want to invite you to the website, successoverstress.net. You see my 100 trading strategies journey here. This is the challenge where I'm coming up with 100 trading strategies, one every day. So a lot of them are listed here. You see the different equity curves. You can actually click on the hyperlink to go to each individual strategies page, and you can see more detailed information about the performance graphs or the performance summary. You can go to tools here. There are some downloadables that you can download if you are interested in some higher level programs, or if you just want to get a little bit of information about how to program some of this stuff yourself, then come over to the how-tos, and there you'll find some code and a lot more explanations on how to do this yourself. Of course, if you don't want to do it yourself, you can always reach out to me, and you can submit a video, share your ideas, and I can see if I can help you. Use whatever symbol that we're on, and then we don't need the ticks or the volume, but for the interval, we're going to make this, because this is the all-time high, technically we could just use a bar with years worth of data, but we'll just do the max that we have, which would be monthly. We have weekly, we have monthly. We don't have a yearly on here. So we can say a 12-month span. And then the range that we're going to go, how many bars back, right? So how many monthly bars back are we going to look? Let's say, instead of going by bars, let's go by years. And we're going to go back, instead of 5 years, I don't know, let's go 100 years. I don't think the stock market is 100 years old. So this would give us an all-time high. All right, so we're just going to verify that. If we verify here, we don't have any errors. We're going to come over here, all-time highs, add that to the IT, all-time highs. Oh, we're going to add this to the chart. And again, if you use shortcuts like I just did here, you see that the TradeStation development environment started flickering. So it's trying to find this script. So if you don't type the name in right, it's going to kind of have a little bit of a seizure. But it'll eventually get you back to where you need to be. Yeah, knock on wood. All right, I'm talking about the computer here. All right, so you see, I did it again. All right, so the wrong thing. All-time highs. All-time. No, I got it. All right, there it is. All-time highs. Okay, so what we're going to say now is, now that we should have the price series provider loaded. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to say, we're not going to wait to the last one on the chart. We need to start running this as soon as the chart starts. So we will say, we'll do a one statement. So what we're going to do is we're going to look through this price series provider of these monthly bars over these 100 years. We're going to loop through this price series provider and say, all right, well, give me the highest high out of all these highs. So we're going to do a once begin x find highest high. Do that. That's going to be a method. So we'll go up here and then we'll make this a method. Method void begin end, and then what we'll do is we'll have a variable that is the it'll be a double highest high 0. Okay, so because we're looping through this method, we need something to control that loop. It's an integer IDX of a. So for IDX of a equals 0 to PSP.count minus 1. So we're going through all the indexes in the loop. We're going to say that highest high is going to be equal to max list, which is going to be the maximum of these two numbers. What number? The first number is going to be the highest high of the bar prior, and then the next one is going to be whatever is in this price series provider at this the high of the index of the price series provider. So it'll be PSP dot high at the index, just like that. And then close that max list. That'll be your highest high. All right, so if you verify that, no errors there. Now, so what we want to do is, if when we're running this at the beginning of the chart, right? So when we're at the very beginning of the chart, right now this chart goes back to 2023. So when we're at the beginning of this chart, it's going to find the highest high of all the bars that would have been to the left of 21, 20, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18. It's going to find the highest high. And so we're going to start there on this first bar with our highest high, and then we can move forward. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to say, after we get done running this loop, we're going to say once print highest high, and it should give us the highest high prior to this bar. Okay, and then of course, anytime you do something with your price series provider, one of your data providers, you just want to make sure that it's in the open state. So we'll say if PSP.state equals it's a TS data common dot data state dot loaded. Then okay, verify that. All right, come down here. All right, you see it says 479.8. Okay, now 479.8 is coming up right in this range. That would just mean that the price somehow, somewhere in the past, must have come up here and dropped back down here. All right, so what we're going to do, we can try to find a little bit of confirmation here. Instead of going 2 years back, let's go 10 years back. And so when we went 10 years back, yep, you see the first bar that we had before was back here in 23, so it was down here. But this was the prior all-time high right there, right? Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to say, and now this number changed now, because now we're 10 years back, and so the highest high prior to that 10-year mark was 213.78. All right, so what we want to do is, if we have a new highest high, then we want to maybe color the bar or something like that. Okay, but what we want to do now is we'll get that print statement out of there. We know that things are working properly. So we did this once at the beginning at the very far left-hand side of the screen. So now on every bar that comes after that, we're still going to look at the high of the bar, And if the high of the bar is higher than this highest high, then we're going to assign a new highest high, right? So we'll just come down here and then we'll say, now we'll say highest, because we're running this on every bar, we'll say highest high is equal to max list of highest high. Now instead of using the price series provider, because we're done with the price series provider, so actually what we can do is we can just go ahead and unload that PSP dot close provider, because we don't need it anymore. And then the highest high now will be whatever, we'll be comparing whatever high we're currently on versus the highest high that came prior to it. Close that. All right, so now that's going to be equal to your highest high. Okay, now if we do have a new highest high, now is when we want to say, all right, we found a new higher high. Do something. Okay, so we'll say if highest high is different than highest high of a bar go, then plot paint bar. We're going to plot from the low to the high of the bar. Plot paint bar. I feel like, no, I thought we were in a, I thought we were in a paint bar. Okay, well, let's just use the show me then. I thought we were doing a paint bar. So to do the show me, and I'll show you how to move this over real quick. All right, so we're only 12 minutes in. We'll have this done in 15 minutes flat. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to plot one, plot the low, or actually we'll plot the high, and then we'll call it new all-time high. Uh-oh, close quotations. Okay, there you go. All right, so that's it. So this is now identifying anytime we have a new all-time high. And it just puts a mark at the top of it. Okay, so what we want to do now, and you see when it retreats here, when it retraces, we don't get it, and then we get a new all-time high. We do get it. We don't get it on the retracement. All right, so in order to move this to another study or something like this, because we use something from the toolbox. Now, if we just go and copy and paste this, so if we copy everything in here, copy, and then we go to a paint bar, and then we'll type it in all-time high, and then we paste it. Instead of plotting one, we're going to plot paint bar from the low to the high, and then I hit verify. It doesn't recognize the PSP. The PSP is stuck in this toolbox area. Okay, so to get it out of the toolbox area, you need to go to view, and then you go to designer generated code, and then this will give you the code information for what was in your toolbox. This gives you the actual code of it written out. So we're just going to copy that, take it over to the paint bar. We'll put it in the once statement. It should do it at the beginning of the chart. We'll do paste there, and we can get rid of this. Well, let's keep that just to keep it all together now. All right, my computer is, or this development environment is getting a little sleepy. All right, so we're going to copy the declaration at the top, and then we're just going to put that here. Okay, so now let's see will it do it. All right, so it's not highlighting anything, which is weird. All right, so now that we have these here, and after the price series provider is declared up here and then instantiated, and then the parameters are set, now that PSP should already be here and it should be loaded, or at least loading, then we want to go ahead and use the PSP to find the highest high from the left-hand side of the screen. So we'll verify that. And once we verified that, no errors with this plot paint bar. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this show me, and then we're going to add the all-time high plot paint bar. And once we add that and it pulls in, let's see what we get. All right, now you see all these newer highs are colored. And let's see if I can change the color. I don't know. All time high green. Can I do that? Okay, so now all the new all-time highs are colored green on your chart. Okay, so that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comment box or come over to successoverstress.net and share them with me there. Hopefully I can get this video over there pretty soon in the how-to and help section. All right, folks, I hope you got something out of this. I'm Eric. I'm out. Peace.